Hello, good evening and welcome to All About Sport. I'm Louise OReilly. Terry Hyland has announced his starting 15 for this Sunday's game against Fermanagh, but here's a few words from the man himself.
Our man in the McKenna Cup, I think we won about 2 games. I know people would say, well, the McKenna Cups don't mean anything, but to us as a young group growing up, every competitive match we play and we feel is very important. Our strength, I think, is that fighting spirit that that has been in him, and they even showed it there a couple of weeks ago against Cork. I think that if you go back to any one of our National League games, whereas even with the ones we lost, bar the Roscommon game, that we at the end of each game we were still competing and looking for scores. So I would say our strength is that we have a little bit of an ever-to-say attitude getting in there. As a panel where we brought in 7 of the under-21 squad, people think that maybe they're a little bit unsettled. They have been in with us, they have trained with us on different occasions until they went back with them. They're used to playing with each other, and they've competed with each other at under-21 level, so it's not that big a shock to the system coming in.
And welcome back. So tonight I'm joined on the show by Damien Donahoe, who is here to talk to us what is happening with county and club football here in Cavan Town. So Damien, thanks very much for joining us on All About Sport.
Thanks very much for having me.
First time in with us.
Yeah,
great.
Very honoured.
And it won't be the last.
Hopefully
Please
not.
God.
Hopefully not.
So obviously there's been a lot happening with football here in Cavan, but obviously all eyes are on this Sunday's game and what's going to be happening. Like, obviously Cavan and Fermanagh, we're all very excited about that game, but tell us, how do you think Terry Hyland and the team are ready for Sunday?
I think, in fairness, their preparation seems to be going fairly well. There's no further injuries to the list from the Armagh game. I don't think Mossy Core has cleared up fully, so he's probably the only one that's out injured still, other than Grode McKernan, who's obviously a big loss, but that's long term. And I think the Cavan panel have come to grips with the fact that they're not going to have him this year, and they're starting to make progress in getting forward without him. He's obviously a key player. Any man that plays for Ulster and at the highest level is going to be a loss to the county team, but David Givney there is outstanding. The Sigerson Cup winning medalist this year has also played for Ulster, so he's well fit to hold midfield there. So
exactly. So obviously Martin Dunn was the top scorer against Armagh. Can he do it again on Sunday?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot expected from Martin. To score 9 points on a debut is phenomenal. I don't think I've ever seen it before. With
that pressure on his shoulders as well, that he was able to perform.
I think that's what every Cavan supporter is wondering to see now Sunday. With that pressure on, with the expectations that have been put onto him now, is he capable? The other side is that it's not going to be the same style of game. Fermanagh won't give the space in the forward line that Eugene Keating and Martin Dunn enjoyed in Breffni Park. Not only the fact that Breffni Park's a far bigger pitch, it's just the Fermanagh defence they'll have 10 men behind the ball, crowding out the spaces, the same way as Cavan will have. So he definitely won't be scoring 9 points on Sunday. I'd be very, very surprised if that does happen anyway. But Martin Dunn's quality, and as you tell any kid when you're coaching him, if you can kick with 2 feet, you're near impossible to mark, and he can kick equally as good with his left as his right. So
he's very lucky. That obviously helps. Obviously, people have spoken about Cavan's style of football in that particular game against Armagh, and you were saying, now going forward against Fermanagh, you think Fermanagh's tactics might change, what Cavan's style is going forward?
Yeah, well, I don't think that Cavan will change their style. I think that just they'll be coming up against a different type of opposition. Fermanagh will filter men behind the ball, try to catch out the fast break, the same way as Cavan play. In the league, both teams played by getting numbers behind the ball and trying to build up from the defensive area, breaking out as quick as possible. That's the way Cavan have played for the last few years at under-21, and it's suited them and it's worked very well, and Brewster Park has worked very well for us over the last number of years. So I don't see Terry Hyland and the management changing their tactics just for this game. I can see them sticking to the same system, and they probably will try to get as much pace out, get Cian Mackey into as much open space as possible and let him break as quick as possible, because in that type of game you need to have pace coming out of the fence. So Cavan have to get those breaks out as soon as possible. But from all indications, the team that's named is the same as was named for the Armagh game.
Yeah, so obviously Terry Hyland is happy with that. That starting team again. I mean, as you said, we don't have to put all our eggs in one basket. We don't just have Martin Dunn, but we have lots of other key players. I suppose you've mentioned Niall McDermott and Eugene Keating, isn't it, and Cian Mackey in there as well. So
yeah, like it's going to be interesting to see. The last day against Armagh, they changed. Jack Brady was left out, and Killian Brady from Mullahoran was brought in to the forward line. Now he played as an extra defender in that game. All indications at the minute are saying that Jack Brady is going to start this day. He's more of a forward. Killian Brady by trade would be a defender. So it appears that he's looking for a bit more attacking options by starting with Jack Brady. But like Fergal Flanagan would naturally be a defender. He's starting as a wing half forward there. So it still will be a defensive lineup. Niall McDermott is the worker that comes out and gets a lot of the dirty ball and tries to break it out of the defence as quick as possible, turn defence into attack as soon as they turn ball. So you're really going to be left up in your forward line, Eugene Keating and Martin Dunn inside, and then Cian Mackey and Jack Brady, I would guess, are the two lads that are the link men to break defence into attack.
Yeah, so maybe just talk us through some more of the players that's part of that team on Sunday in a bit more detail, Damien.
Yeah, so the team that starts is Conor Gilson, and he's the under-21 goalkeeper from this current campaign that just finished, where we were betting the All-Ireland semi-final. He's from Bailieborough Shamrocks. Now he's a very capable goalkeeper and shouldn't have any problem in there. His kick-outs are quite consistent and a good shot stopper. So then you've Jason McLaughlin in cornerback from Shannon Gales. Jason's just been a revelation really for Cavan. He's probably the best cornerback we've produced in a number of years. I believe against Mayo he had a very good game in cornerback against Aidan Moore, and so he's capable of marking anybody, and he's really your man marker in the back line. Rory Dunn from Red Hills is playing very well at full back, and Killian Clark from Shercock is named at number 4. Now against Armagh he started in that position, but came out to middle of the field. Himself and Damien O'Reilly from Belturbet swapped towards the second half, and Killian can play as a midfielder or defender. He's an extremely versatile player, and we're lucky he even has another year on the 21. So you just don't know whether Killian, if there's a possibility, he might start in the middle of the field.
These are still some of the under-21s these are some of the under-21s that were brought in then for this team.
Yeah. There's quite a few. There's Fergal Flanagan there as well, and Jack Brady. They're all on the 21 and they're starting on the senior team this week. So, but in the half-back line then you've James McEnroe, who's back in this year after being away. He was in I believe in London last year, but he's playing as a wing half-back, and Alan Clark, the captain from Kings Court, is centre half-back, with Ronan Flanagan from Castlerahan the other wing half-back. So your half-back line is very strong there. Ronan Flanagan's exceptionally good at using the ball. His pass found Cian Mackey that got us the goal against Armagh. So, and Alan Clark and James McEnroe, both big, strong, solid men that seem to hold our half-back line. Alan Clark against Armagh played as a sweeper nearly in front of Jamie Clark, helping out Jason McLaughlin. That worked very, very well for us. It was a very good tactic by the managers. They got the call right on that decision. So it'll be interesting to see, will he sit back as a centre half, or will he be allowed to push forward on Sunday? In the middle of the field then you've Damien O'Reilly's the vice captain from Belturbet, and David Givney from Mount Nugent. As I said, David Givney has a world of experience. He's having a phenomenal year to play. He won a Railway Cup with Ulster this year, and he won the Sigerson with DIT and was playing star roles for both. So it's great to have somebody.
He really is, somebody of his calibre as well.
In the team.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's exceptional. Then your half forward line is Cian Mackey from Castlerahan, Jack Brady from Ramor, centre half forward, and Fergal Flanagan. 2 out of the 3 of them players are county under 21s from this year gone by. Both Jack and Fergal were on all 3 under 21 winning teams, so they have a world of experience and are bringing a confidence into this senior team. So, and Cian Mackey is probably playing the best football he's played in the last 5 years, so it's good to see that.
You were saying Garrod McKernan, he's obviously injured and he's out. Is he a big loss, do you think? Has it changed the kind of dynamics of the team? Yeah,
it definitely has. It appeared throughout the league that the preference was to play Garrod in the middle of the field and David Givney inside in the forward line as a target man. and with Garrod gone, they've had to relocate David out to the middle of the field, which I suppose we're lucky in that we have David to go out to the middle of the field. Other years and in the past, Cavan have struggled for midfielders, but we're lucky in that. But definitely, it would have reshuffled all of the plans probably Cavan made, but they were lucky that it happened early enough that they could adopt their plans. You know, they could make the changes. So it definitely made a huge change to the dynamics of the team.
Brilliant. Well, I know we have some footage that we might just show, just to give everybody a little reminder of what happened when Cavan beat Armagh.
Win game, that's what you got. Hugely satisfying, I'm sure.
Yeah, so we come down and we knew we had to win, as those and the lads worked hard. We did a tough couple of training sessions during the week, and we've probably seen it on our legs there in the game, but they worked hard and they were honest, and that's what we want.
You always expected to come back from Armagh. They tried desperately to get into the game, but you have to be very happy with the way our defence played.
Well, that's it, and that's probably the end of the game. We have been working, and we've done very little work with our forwards or our forward play, so we have been concentrating, because we did leak 24 goals last year, so we had to try and stop that, and that's what we've been working on.
You're scoring goals, that's important, and you got 3 tonight.
Yes, well again, we reacted quick, we got frees, we moved the ball fast, and it's a bit hard, lads have to keep thinking on their feet.
A must-win game, that's what you got. Hugely satisfying, I'm sure.
Yeah, so we come down and we knew we had to win, as those and the lads worked hard.
Now, and that was just an interview after the game against Armagh. So we'll just continue on there. We'll maybe get that footage later on in the show, but not to worry. Obviously, it brings us to Fermanagh. We want to talk a little bit more detail about the Fermanagh team. What do we know about Fermanagh? What could cause concern for us on Sunday? Obviously, Peter Canavan is their manager from Tyrone. So
yeah, Peter Canavan is over the team this year, and he made good strides with them throughout the league. Fermanagh had quite a good league campaign. They came down to the last day. They were still fighting for promotion. They've also bet us in Brewster Park this year. Granted, we were down to 14 men after about 5-6 minutes, but Fermanagh are going to create a different opposition than Armagh. Tactically, they'll be far more aware of Cavan's systems. Peter Canavan was at the game in Breffni Park against Armagh, and you can be sure he won't allow the space to be created in front of our forward line. But Peter Canavan's playing, well, maybe he's playing mind games, maybe he's telling the truth. He's talking a lot about what he's missing, that he's 11 players on the casualty list at the minute. That he's he's quoted in Gaelic Life as saying that he's very disappointed with the build-up he's had, and that he can't get his best 15 together, which can all be just mind games for him to try and distract.
Is he trying to create that, kind of making Cavan feel like too comfortable going into this game, which is the worry? Yeah,
I'd say that. I personally think that being maybe a student of Mickey Harte's, that mind games will be part of his game, but to be turning around and saying that you're missing 11 players and that everything's going terribly poor and you're disappointed you can't get numbers for trainings, these sort of comments, I don't think if those were actually happening you'd be coming out and saying them. Well, I personally wouldn't be anyway as a manager. You're trying to, all he's doing is playing down and hoping that Cavan get carried away with themselves and think that they're going in for an easy game, which I'm sure Terry Hyland and management won't allow the Cavan players to think, because probably to Cavan's advantage, we were beaten this year by Fermanagh in the league, so there should be no reason for complacency by the Cavan panel this year.
Perfect. Well, look, we'll continue just after the break, Damien. Thanks very much. So we're going to take a short ad break, but stay with us and we'll be back with more.